Ferrari just found a legal way to change their engine in the middle of the season. And if this goes through, it could erase a power gap of up to 30 horsepower. The exact advantage Mercedes has been using to dominate every straight, every race, every weekend. But here's the part nobody expected. This is not an upgrade. It's not development. Under FIA rules, it's a correction. And that single word changes everything. Because Ferrari can now argue that their engine has a structural flaw, a hidden issue that only appears under race conditions, losing power as temperatures rise, losing performance exactly when it matters most. And if they prove it, they are allowed to introduce a completely new engine, mid-season, fully legal, no penalties, no restrictions, and no time for Mercedes to react, which means this is no longer about closing the gap slowly. This is about flipping the entire competitive order in one move. And if Ferrari gets this right, Mercedes doesn't just lose an advantage, they lose the one thing that made them untouchable. At first, this doesn't look like a breakthrough. It looks like a limitation, because Ferrari hasn't been slow. Not really. 3 races, 3 podiums, always close enough to fight, but never close enough to win. And that's the detail most people miss. Because when a car is consistently second, it means the problem is not everywhere. It's one thing, one missing piece. And in Ferrari's case, that piece is brutally obvious. The engine, a deficit of around 25 to 30 horsepower, exactly where it matters most. On the straights, under full deployment, where races are decided in a matter of meters. And the data keeps repeating the same pattern. In the corners, Ferrari is there, stable, precise, sometimes even faster. In long stints, they manage tires better than almost anyone. They survive, they extend, they come alive late in the race. But every time the track opens up, everything disappears. Every gain, every advantage, lost in a straight line. And that creates a ceiling, a hard limit. Because no matter how good the chassis is, no matter how perfect the strategy becomes, if you cannot defend on the straights, you cannot control the race. You're always reacting, always vulnerable, always waiting for the moment where the faster car comes back at you. And that's exactly what Mercedes has been exploiting every single weekend. They don't need to be better everywhere. They only need to be better in one place, the place that defines everything. Because with more power and better energy recovery, they decide when to attack, when to pull away, when to end the fight. And Ferrari, until now, had no answer. But here's where everything changes. Because Ferrari didn't just accept the deficit. They investigated it. They broke it down. They traced it to its origin. Not in the setup, not in aerodynamics. Inside the engine itself. A structural behavior. Something that only appears under real race conditions. Heat, pressure, time. A slow loss of efficiency. That turns a competitive car into a limited one. And once they understood that, the entire situation shifted. Because this is no longer about chasing performance. It's about correcting a flaw. And that distinction is exactly what the FIA rule allows. Because improving the engine is restricted, but correcting it can be approved. And that's the door Ferrari just opened. The same door no team expected to matter. Because as long as Ferrari was simply slower, Mercedes was safe. But the moment Ferrari proves this is a structural anomaly, that safety disappears. And suddenly, the team that was chasing has a way to change everything in one move. But here's where this stops being a technical story and starts becoming a problem for Mercedes. Because until now, everything has been predictable. Ferrari loses on the straights. Mercedes pulls away. Race over. That pattern has repeated itself again and again. And when something repeats in Formula One, teams build confidence around it. They trust it. They depend on it. Mercedes built their entire race control around that advantage. Energy deployment, top speed, exit acceleration, all of it working together, all of it untouchable. But the moment Ferrari activates this rule, that entire structure becomes unstable. Because now, Mercedes cannot rely on that advantage anymore. And that changes how you approach every race. Because suddenly, you don't know where Ferrari is weak. You don't know where you can attack. You don't know if the straight is still your safe zone. And in Formula One, that uncertainty is dangerous. More dangerous than raw pace. Because it forces hesitation. It forces second guesses. And second guesses cost time. Now think about what Ferrari is really doing here. They are not just fixing the engine. They are removing the reference point. The one thing every team has been using to understand them. Because right now, everyone knows how to race Ferrari. Stay close in the corners. Wait for the straight. Attack. Simple. Effective. Predictable. But remove that moment, and everything changes. Because now, Ferrari becomes unpredictable. And when a car becomes unpredictable, it becomes difficult to beat. But here's the deeper layer. Because this correction is not happening alone. It's being aligned with aerodynamic upgrades, with energy deployment improvements, with cooling adjustments. Everything synchronized. Everything designed to peak at the same time. So when this new engine arrives, it doesn't just fix one problem. It removes all the connected limitations. And that's when the real shift happens. Because Ferrari doesn't just gain speed. They gain consistency. No more power loss over a stint. No more drop in the final laps. No more defending when it matters most. Instead, they hold performance, lap after lap. And that's where races are truly decided. Not at the start, at the end, where pressure builds, where mistakes appear, where control matters more than raw speed. And if Ferrari reaches that point, then Mercedes is no longer managing the race. They are surviving it. And that's a completely different situation, because Mercedes has not been built to chase. They've been built to control, to dictate, to lead, but remove their main advantage. And they are forced into unfamiliar territory. And in Formula One, the moment you leave your comfort zone, you become vulnerable, which is exactly where Ferrari wants them. Not just slower, uncertain, reactive, under pressure. And that's why this FIA rule matters so much, because it doesn't just give Ferrari performance, it gives them timing, the ability to choose when everything changes. And if they choose that moment correctly, there won't be a gradual warning, there won't be a slow shift, there will just be one race, where the version of Ferrari everyone understood no longer exists. And when that happens, Mercedes won't be asking how much faster Ferrari became. They'll be asking something much more uncomfortable. When did we lose control without even realizing it? And this is where everything finally connects. Because what Ferrari is doing is not just solving a weakness. They are building a moment, a very specific moment, where everything changes at once. Because up to now, every team has been working with the same version of Ferrari. A fast car, a complete car, but limited, defined by one clear weakness. And that weakness made them predictable, manageable, beatable. But the second that weakness disappears, that version of Ferrari disappears with it. And that's the part no one is ready for. Because Formula One teams don't just react to speed. They react to patterns, to habits, to known behaviors. And Ferrari is about to break all of them at the same time. Now imagine the exact scenario. The new engine arrives. The thermal issue is gone. Power no longer drops over a stint. Energy recovery improves. Deployment becomes consistent. And suddenly, Ferrari reaches the straight and doesn't lose. For the first time this season, they stay there, side by side. No weakness, no drop, no escape. And that's when the entire race dynamic changes. Because now Mercedes cannot rely on their usual advantage. They cannot break away. They cannot control the pace from the front. They are forced into a fight. A real one, lap after lap, corner after corner. And that's exactly where Ferrari becomes dangerous. Because this car was always built for that kind of race. Strong in corners, gentle on tires, consistent over time. Everything designed for pressure. Everything designed for endurance. But until now, that strength was never fully usable. Because the engine held it back. Because the straight erased it. Because the race always reset in Mercedes' favor. But remove that reset, and everything Ferrari does well starts to matter more. Every lap, every stint, every decision. And that's when the shift becomes irreversible. Because once Ferrari proves they can match on the straights, even once, the psychological balance breaks. Mercedes no longer races with certainty. They race with doubt. And doubt in Formula One is the beginning of mistakes. Because now every decision feels heavier. Every strategy call becomes riskier. Every overtake attempt more desperate. And Ferrari doesn't need to do anything extraordinary. They just need to stay there. Apply pressure. Wait. Because when a dominant team loses its reference point, it doesn't collapse instantly. It cracks. Slowly. Then all at once. And that's the moment Ferrari has been preparing. Not just to catch Mercedes, to replace them. Because once that first race happens, once the data confirms it, once the gap is gone, There is no going back, no reset, no easy response, just a new reality, where Ferrari is no longer the team chasing, but the team everyone else is trying to understand. And that leads to the final question, the one that defines everything you've just heard. Because if Ferrari knew about this rule, if they identified the flaw early, if they built the solution in silence, then this was never about reacting to Mercedes. It was about waiting for the exact moment where one move changes the entire season forever. And this is the moment where the entire illusion breaks, because everything up to now has been controlled, measured, contained. Ferrari showing just enough to stay close, just enough to stay relevant, but never enough to force anyone to panic. And that was intentional, because the moment you reveal your full potential too early, you give your rivals time to react, time to adapt, time to survive. And Ferrari didn't want that. They wanted something else. Impact. A single moment where the entire grid realizes they were wrong. Now think about how rare that is in Formula One. Performance usually evolves slowly. 1/10 here, 2/10 there. Everyone improving at the same time. Everyone adapting together. But this is different, because this is not evolution. This is interruption. A break in the pattern. A point where progress stops being gradual and becomes sudden. Because if Ferrari introduces that corrected engine, if the power stabilizes, if the straight line deficit disappears, then every race before that moment becomes irrelevant. Old data, old conclusions, old assumptions. And that's what makes this so powerful. Because Formula One depends on information, on understanding your rival better than they understand themselves. But Ferrari is about to remove that understanding completely, because the car everyone has been studying is not the final version. It never was. It was the incomplete one, the limited one, the version Ferrari allowed everyone to see. And now, they're about to replace it. Now imagine the shock inside the paddock. Engineers looking at telemetry and not recognizing the numbers. Drivers entering the straight and realizing Ferrari is not dropping back. Strategists recalculating and finding nothing matches anymore, because the reference is gone. And when the reference is gone, control disappears. And when control disappears, the fastest team is not always the one with more speed. It's the one that understands the situation first. And Ferrari is making sure that they are the only ones who do. But here's the final twist. Because Ferrari doesn't need this to be perfect. They don't need to dominate instantly. They only need one race.